While we are working on a project, we may need to place hats in certain areas to indicate a special feature or a certain trait they have. For this reason, AutoCAD has a hats tool which provides several different types of hats. In order to see the hats types and their options, a file has been created containing the necessary objects for this lesson. But firstly, let's see where we can find the tool. The Hats tool can be found in both the Draw menu and the ribbon if we look at the Home tab and the panel Draw. Furthermore, we can type the word Hats in the command line and press Enter to activate it. Like usual, I will activate the tool from the ribbon. The contextual ribbon Hats Creation with all the available options appears. In the Properties panel, the first drop-down menu is about the type of the hats. By selecting Pattern, we can select one of the available patterns from the list on the left. In this example, I will select the ANSI 34 and then I will click inside the first rectangle to place it. Once I place it, the contextual ribbon remains active so I can make some more changes to the hats. Firstly, I can change the type of the pattern and see how it appears in the selected area. I will click on the ANSI 36 and since I like it better, I will set this type of pattern. Next, in the Properties panel from the drop-down menu below the Hats type, I can change the color of the pattern. I will select a baby pink color for this pattern and I will click on Close Hats Editor to see the result. Now, if I want to further modify these hats, all I have to do is click on it and the contextual ribbon appears again. I can change the pattern or the color again if I wish, but in this example I will show you how to add a background color instead. So I will go to the Properties panel again, and from the third drop-down menu I will select a blue color for the background. I will press Escape to see the result, and once I'm satisfied with it, I will select the Hats tool again to create a different type of hats. In the Properties panel, I will expand the first drop-down menu and I will select the type Solid. A solid hat is a one-color hats type. From the second drop-down menu, I will select the light blue color and I will apply it to the second rectangle by clicking in it. Then, I will click on the Close Hats editor to see the result and move on to the next example. I will select the Hats tool one more time to see the last type of hats, which is the gradient hats. Gradient hats consists of two colors. Once I select the gradient type, I will select a dark blue as the first color and a light purple as the second. From the list on the left, I will select the type GR Sphere and I will click in the third rectangle to place it. At this point, I can close the Hats editor. As you can see, the two colors are mixed in a spherical pattern. At this point, I have to mention that from the Properties palette, I can also change the transparency, the angle and the scale of a Hats pattern. So, in the next three examples, Hats patterns have already been placed, but I'm going to modify them until they appear as needed. I will select the first hats so the Hats editor will reappear. In the field of Hats transparency, in the Properties palette, I will type the number 70 and press Enter. Then I will close the Hats editor. Notice that the Hats is now transparent. Next, I'm going to select the Net Hats and change the value in the angle field from 0 to 55. The pattern was rotated as soon as I pressed Enter. I will press Escape and select the last hats to show you how to change the scale of the pattern. Notice that in these hats we cannot see the entire pattern. Usually that happens when the scale is not right, so I will change the value in the scale field from 1 to 0.1 Automatically, we can see the pattern. At this point, I have to mention that you might need to experiment a bit before you decide on the right value in the scale field, which will lead to a satisfying result. I will press Escape again to close the Hatch editor and explain to you one more thing about hatches. I will select the tool, and once active, I will select the pattern type and then the honey pattern from the list. Now, in the Boundaries panel, the default option is Pick Points, which determines the hatch boundary from existing objects. With this option active, I will move the cursor inside the upper area of the rectangle. A preview of the hatch inside the automatically detected area appears. I will click on it to place the hatch and repeat the procedure for the circle too, leaving only the intersected area out of the hatch. Now, to remove the hatch from the circle, I have to activate the Remove Boundary Objects button from the contextual ribbon and click on the circle. The hatch was automatically removed from the circle and remained only in the rectangle. Next, I will go back to the Boundaries panel and change the setting from Pick Points to Select. With the Select option active, I can select a closed profile to manually determine the boundaries of the hatch. In this case, a message prompts me to select an entire object, so I will select the rectangle on the right and notice that the hatch is now covering the entire rectangle, including the intersecting area with a circle.